possibility, a very tiny possibility that it could hit the Earth in the year 2080. I expect that that will go away, and we'll know that we're safe from this asteroid for a long time.
And how will you use the information that Lance was talking about, the information that the radar can give us?
Lance's information is very helpful in computing the orbit. We will have essentially nailed the orbit of this to, it'll be one of the best in our catalog. It's that accurate.
All right. We are 50 seconds away, 49. The clock is counting down, and at that point, in just a few seconds, that is the closest point that DA-14 will be to our planet.
To our planet in centuries, probably, as far as we know. So it's a remarkable moment as it passes by, and then it will be headed out.
And watching the counter on the left, the distance to Earth.
Yes, it's going to go through about 17,200 some miles. That's as close as it will get, and then it will start heading out.
And that's at the point where folks in Europe and then finally North America,
as its retro rockets and comes into stable orbit,
we'll be able to see it.
Yes, it's going from the far south. Now it's over the equator, and it will be heading straight north and going essentially near the North Pole. So now we will have the polars in the sky, and we'll have a chance to see it from the northern hemisphere now.
All right. The counter is 0. It has passed closest approach, and this asteroid is going away.
It's on its way out.
It's been here, done that.
But throughout the day, it'll be observed by observatories around the world, and we'll get a lot of good information on its spectral type, chemical composition possibly, spectrum of it, and the radar data will give us essential information on the shape and size and the rotation.
What's very interesting is how much information you're getting from hobbyists, from amateurs. It's as though the more eyes are always better.
Yes, it's a worldwide effort, and astronomers around the world send in data on these asteroids, and they're all collected and all used in a combined solution to figure out its orbit.
All right, so what's next for NASA missions regarding asteroids?
Well, NASA has a planned mission to go visit one of these near-Earth objects. That's the OSIRIS-REx mission.
We have some footage of it, in fact, that we can show folks. Now, this is a mission that actually will visit an asteroid.
It's going to go to a near-Earth asteroid, a little bit larger. This one is called 1999 RQ-36. Here you see the spacecraft approaching it. It's launched in 2016. It approaches it in the year 2019 approximately. We'll reach out, take a sample. You saw a little puff of dust.
Yes.
It'll put the sample into a return capsule and bring that back to the Earth, so we'll have actual samples of a near-Earth asteroid.
All right, well, we're through. DA-14 is on its way, but we will continue our observations of it, and we will be seeing it here in the United States pretty soon.
This evening.
And so that wraps things up here. We would like to thank all of the observatories that helped us out today. That's Southern Cross in Tasmania, Sanford Valley in inner Brisbane, Australia, of course the Gingin Observatory outside of Perth, Australia. And JPL will continue to push out these images of DA-14 as it moves over towards Europe and then over to the Northern Hemisphere and the United States, North America. You can see these images on our Ustream channel. That is http://www.ustream.tv and then NASA JPL2. And then later on today, NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama, they will also be streaming images from their telescope, and you can see those here in the United States from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific time. That'll be 9 p.m. to midnight, and you can search for their feed at www.ustream.tv, and that will be NASA-MSFC. And finally, if you're interested in learning more about asteroids, there are 2 websites to check out. That's www.nasa.gov/asteroidflyby altogether. And you can also follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/asteroidwatch. And you can get tweets all about asteroids. Oh, that wraps it up for us. Thank you so much for joining us. And again, many thanks for all the observatories that helped us out today. Take care.
Well, let's just go have a quick look at the sun. It's just starting to get kimmed over. Yeah, we'll see if we can get this uploaded before it's too long. So we know we're definitely getting some meteor smoke from that one going in the opposite direction. And made it in over the Urals in Russia. Shablinsk. That's where Dr. Strangelove, how I learned to love the bomb, that's where they dropped the first Slim Pickens Road, the first atomic bomb, what was it, a WD-40? Down out of his bomber bay in Praia-da-Luz and set off the Third World War, 1964. Hey, well. Peace out, and spend your money on survival crap. And knowing, not on destruction. Competitive human bullshit is not sustainable. I'm just gonna get a few extra opinions on this. What do you think? Is human bullshit sustainable, Cindy? Bear? Is human competitiveness sustainable in your books? No. No? No! Make peace and stop competing, you stupid humans! You know, just because we were best friends doesn't mean we'll always be best friends if you're gonna continue to act like this. See? What did I tell you? Yeah, it's like what Bear said. Stop competing. Start complimenting one another's efforts. You're supposed to be out there making the universe survive. That's why we befriended you when all the other creatures wanted to wipe your mutant genes off the face of the planet Earth. Wisen up. There's no more time to fuck around, you stupid killers. You bunch of stupid talking monkeys. Peace out. See? 3 out of 3 can't be wrong.